Let's bring in our guest to discuss what they think should happen with all this. She is the president of the National Federation of Republican Women. Julie Harris joins us today. On the right and on the left, Democratic strategist Bill Caruso. Welcome in, panel. Good to see you both.
Good to be with you.
All right, so White House released a statement, and it basically says here, NPR PBS grift has ripped us off for too long. And then there's a list of all NPR's and PBS's biased content, saying what a waste it is, and saying that this is no longer something taxpayers should be footing the bill for. And it goes on with all these examples, one after another. When you couple that with the Capitol Hill testimony and some recanting and some lack of memory on some of the issues. I'm going to start with you, Bill. What do you think? Why not just pull the funding? If they want to do the editorial, they do it, just without the taxpayers footing the bill. Do you agree?
It's hard to defend based on what we've seen and what we've heard, but I'd offer this to you. The less money that the public commits, the more money that you're going to see private sector commit. I think that's been some of our problem here, where you've had very liberal institutions and organizations funneling funds to these public institutions, these public broadcasting efforts. And they serve a really important purpose, particularly in rural areas that tend to lean more red. In my state, it's very blue. In New Jersey, we don't have our own media outlet. We are, sort of bookend between New York and Philadelphia. Our public TV station actually does a pretty good job of keeping Democrats who are in power here in check. So you want to be careful throwing the baby out the bathwater, but I think this is a fantastic conversation we're having about balance. And these folks are not balanced right now. I say that to you, somebody that's coming from the left. NPR, PBS are not showing proper balance, and they do serve an important purpose. They need to start showing that now.
So they're not balanced. There's obviously evidence, if you will, of that. But how do you change it if it is actually someone's stance? I just want everyone to remember this was the TED Talk. NPR CEO, when it comes to the truth, which is really fundamental to journalism, what she thinks of it.
Perhaps for our most tricky disagreements, seeking the truth and seeking to convince others of the truth might not be the right place to start. In fact, our reverence for the truth might be a distraction that's getting in the way of finding common ground and getting things done.
So instead of cutting their money, Bill thinks there's some rehab for the folks that are running these institutions. What do you say, Julie?
We have to start with truth. Truth is the central place that we all must begin with. When you think of public broadcasting, I remember the innocent days of the past. PBS, I would call my kids in from playing outside to come in and watch Wishbone, Liberty's Kids, and our family favorite, The Big Comfy Couch, because it taught them always to pick up after they play. But unfortunately, those innocent days are days gone by, and they've replaced it with programming such as Queer Ducks and Animals Need Pronouns Too. And they refuse to report on news that doesn't fit their narrative. They don't start from a place of truth because it gets in the way. This is not what taxpayers should be funding. And to the point that if there's not public dollars, it'll be private dollars. Well, why not? Other networks have to have private dollars. And I think if the public realized that this is really not public broadcasting that is committed to unbiased reporting and unbiased programming that was once safe for our children, they'll trust it less and they'll know what they're getting. Even if they tune in, they'll understand what they're getting.